You're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Got him looking. Hagen Smith has tied the school record with 17 strikeouts, but he's done it in 6 dominating innings. Peyton Holt in center field makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Donay's coming home. He throws to third. Sprague Lott fires to the plate. They got him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Continues to dance. Sweet 16 Thursday night. How sweet it is.
How cool, man. Woo Pig Sooie. Who would have thought this, just 60 days ago? You gotta just proud of the guys, man. Just the excitement, the energy, the passion they play with. I mean, you're kind of like, where was this earlier? But you'll take it now. I mean, do you want a Sweet 16 team, or do you want to finish second in your conference? You kind of getting that. It's fun to make the second weekend of the tournament.
Well, now all of the struggles that seemed to define Arkansas back in the month of January, it just becomes a footnote to a great story. And now you're the Cinderella in this Sweet.
We're the highest seed left, right?
This is the one left. It's all power conference. It's 7 SEC teams. You got only one out of the ACC. You've got 4 Big 12, 4 Big 10, and Arkansas is the Cinderella here. Imagine that, Matt Jones. A John Calipari team is a Cinderella. I think that was the case back in his days at UMass. Maybe you could have said that a couple of times while he was at Memphis. You would have never said that at Kentucky. And you're probably not going to be saying that, I think, in the future with his program at Arkansas. It's just that right now you got a 10 seed, and Matt, they don't play like a 10 seed. This is not your run-of-the-mill average 10 seed that snuck into the tournament and was a mediocre ball club. Like Texas, like a Vanderbilt. Texas snuck in. Vandy, maybe they did sneak in. Those are mediocre ball clubs. This is not a mediocre basketball team. And when I see a team that has completely erased the best player on the 2 opponents that they've played in the round of 64, Hunter Dickinson shrunk. He disappeared. He wasn't even on the court at some of the big moments. R.J. Lewis, the Big East Player of the Year, was the exact same thing. And it wasn't just a matter that he wasn't in the game. Matt, I think this team right now, defensively, they get in opponents' heads. I think that's a major reason why St. John's had so much trouble, not just shooting, but finishing layups, finishing tip-backs. This Arkansas team is a problem. And where they are really a problem is defending in the paint.
Their length is creating havoc, no question about it. And I thought Big Z, you look at the stat sheet, Big Z, those were big 10 minutes. DeJuan Wagner, you see 4 of 16, and you're like, well, dude, DeJuan Wagner was playing his arse off, man. I know that if you just looked at the stats, you're like, yeah, dude, I have not seen anybody. I know that the defense is big time, but I haven't seen one person stay in front of DJ Wagner yet in this tournament.
Well, and think of how well Arkansas has defended some of their best players and how difficult it can be to stay in front of somebody like DJ. Now, look, I understand. You probably got to do a little bit better then shooting 43% from the field and 8 for 43 from behind the three-point line. But it isn't just that these two teams that Arkansas has beaten were just missing wide open layups because they were bad around the rim. That's actually a strength of St. John. Now, they're not a good mid-range shooting team. They're not a good three-point shooting team. But what they're able to do is what Arkansas usually does, and that's finish around the rim. That's what Hunter Dickinson should be able to do too. Athletically, Matt, lengthwise, now maybe not offensively in so many ways, but defensively, I think this team is a real problem for opponents to figure out. If you don't have one of those huge games from the outside as a team that might have to knock down 12, 13, 14 threes, that might be the only way right now to defeat the Razorbacks. Because, remember that sequence early in Saturday's game? I was calling the baseball game. I wasn't watching the round of 32 game in the middle of the baseball game. I went back and watched it Saturday night and then rewatched some of it again on Sunday morning. Remember when Carter Knox blocked a couple of shots in a row right around the rim? He finished with 4. He got 2 in a row in about 2 or 3 seconds. Matt, I think he got in St. John's head. I think he got in R.J. Lewis's head. And he's not even the tallest guy on the court. You got plenty of other guys who can shot block, just like you've got plenty of other guys who can find a way to lead the team in scoring. Just look at the 2 games you've won here. Jonas Adu, who is a grizzled college basketball veteran who knows what it's like to play in pressure moments in this tournament. He led the way against Kansas, 22 points. You had Janelle Davis score 18. He's played in the Final Four. These were the 2 guys that you knew had to have a huge hand in the bounce back from what we've seen, and their injuries have obviously healed 100%. And then look at who led you against St. John's. It's 2 guys who've never played in the NCAA tournament before. Never. Billy Richmond, Carter Knox. These are guys who defend. These are guys who play with energy. And, this to me is the thing that stands out about the Razorbacks. Matt, it's 8 players. Now, I know Big Z, is still kind of feeling things out. But of the other 7, and I include Boogie in this too, any one of them can be a reason why Arkansas will win this game. I don't think you can say that about most other teams that were in the field of 64 or 68, and maybe not even amongst the round of who's left amongst the 16.
Yeah, talent's not an issue. Athletic ability is not an issue with this team. Maybe, St. John's, the Yannis, they missed 54 shots for the old Texas Tech linebacker, Zach Thomas, number 54. I've never seen a team shoot the ball so bad that they did. And you bring up Carter Knox and Billy Richmond, Phil, and you're spot on because the very first game of the tournament, they probably had their worst game in 2 months, both of them. And they both bounced back and had their best game. And freshmen do that from times, but neither one of those kids played like freshmen Saturday.
It's just crazy, though. It's wild to be here for the 4th time in 5 years and for Cal to be the coach to take you for the 4th time, with Must be in the previous 3. And you said 60 days ago. I guess I would have been, I don't know. I'm not going to count properly, but something like January the 26th or something, right? Just try to transport yourself 2 months ago. Just that number, Matt, 60 days. Even if it would have come after the first SEC win. What was it, Georgia? That's right. There was no way. Did anybody truly think that you'd be where you are right now? That you would not just be watching the NCAA tournament with 7 SEC teams in there, but your team is there too, and they're the Cinderella, and they might be the best defensive team that's left. It's just amazing. Now I'm not going to go on here and start, looking through Cal's career and trying to compare one season to the other. But what an amazing job this coaching staff has done with this group. And the players deserve all the credit as well for fighting through every last one of them has fought through adversity, whether it's been injuries or ineffectiveness or just trying to learn the ropes of being a freshman in college basketball. And right now, Matt, they're the team that plays like, and I still don't believe this is true. You saw Charles Barkley kind of go in on, I think it was Wally Zerbiak about this. I think it was late last weekend about you play like you got nothing to. Of course, you got something to lose. There's something you don't want to lose, but it doesn't look like they're playing with any pressure. I mean, they're playing their best basketball of the season. And for a tournament right now that needs a Cinderella, that's your Cinderella. It's the only one left.
Yeah, I mean, they bought in, they figured it out. The thing that I've noticed in these two games is we're the more athletic team. I think that's what kind of throws you off in the regular season. But it's American sports. The regular season is just, if you're not going to win the title, just get into the tournament and get healthy. And that's what this team's been able to do. And they seem to have. They say, and winning's fun, but the last couple games, man, they seem to have a smile on their face and have like a little bit of a quiet confidence. Like they can tell, like, yeah, we've been this good the whole time. We've just finally figured it out.
Is it okay? I think this is a tough team. Actually, I think it's a physical team, and I think that's a reason why St. John's was taken out of there. Did you see the look on R.J. Lewis's eyes? Did you see his teammate? I think it was Zubi Ejiofor, who's like kind of looking at him, shaking his shoulders, trying to get him back into the game. Matt, he had the 8 Mile stare. That's the Big East player of the year, who finished 3 for 17 from the field. And you think of how many shots he missed around the rim. And I don't think it's just a matter that he just wasn't there. I think the Hogs took him out of his game. This is a physical team, Matt. It was like the first time I really thought that when we've been watching this tournament. They can defend it. You cannot be a good defensive team in the paint if you're not physical. It's not just about out-leaping your opponent. There's an attitude that goes along with it, too. There's toughness that goes along with that, but there's also that ability to bang, and they do. It's just some of the things that we thought about this team 60 days ago, it's not what I think about right now. 60 days ago, they looked soft. Arkansas was the team 60 days ago that had the 8 Mile stare. Now they're the team that's taking out 2 of the best players in the country who aren't even on the court in big moments. And it isn't even just like a guy like Adu that's doing it to them. It's a guy like Carter Knox that's doing it to them. These are 2 guys that are on the opposite ends of the experience spectrum in the NCAA tournament. And I got to tell you, and I know I said this on Friday, I didn't start thinking this until after the Kansas game. Going into the Kansas game, I'm thinking if they can win this is a team that can be a problem. Matt, I think the Razorbacks are a problem. I think they're a problem for Texas Tech. They could be a problem for whomever they might face in the Elite Eight. I don't want to get ahead of myself after that. It's a legitimate Final Four contender.
Yeah, Texas Tech, they'll have the best NBA pro. They'll have the best player on the floor when we play them on Thursday, which, I mean, what are they playing, like midnight? So maybe that fits our team well. But they're all good. Sweet 16, every one of these 16 teams are good. And so it's another challenge. The guys are going to have to stop Toppin. I mean, that dude's a lottery pick. And yes, you're right. Don't get ahead of yourself, because if we were to beat Texas Tech, it'd be Florida next. And we saw what Florida did, and Florida they look hot. But yeah, I think at this point, it's one game at a time.
877-377-6963 if you'd like to get it on the show at any time today on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Here's what we got lined up. It's just 2 guests. Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, 115. We'll have our 3 Up, 3 Down with Dr. Charlie Liggett from River Valley Smile Center about an hour from now. Mike Irwin, Pig Trail Nation, in about 20 minutes or so. And your calls and texts as we go throughout it. Let's first go to William in Lafayette. Hello, William. How are you?
The Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Arkansas, will you make the Final Four? In them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns. And did I say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling, woo, pig suey. Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me. Capiche?
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas wins the national championship.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
At Mosquito Joe, our passion is making outside fun again. One of the most popular ways of achieving that goal is with a mosquito misting system. Mosquito Joe misting systems can be installed discreetly around your backyard, patio, boat dock, anywhere you're getting bugged.
The really cool thing about Mosquito Joe misting systems is that they mist automatically every day when mosquitoes are most active. And, if I want to, I can operate the system on my phone with a super easy-to-use app.
Mosquito misting systems. Just one more way Mosquito Joe makes outside fun again.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Hey, Ty Richardson, we're at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith. Ethan, you guys have a massive event coming up May 2nd and May the 3rd.
We will have the Kawasaki Good Times demo truck here for Kawasaki demo rides, games, and prizes. Rollin' Smoke Barbecue food truck will also be here, and on that Friday, Ruskin and Zach will report live from the event. That is the Steel Horse Rally Weekend. See our Facebook page for all the details and updates.
That's Wheeler Power Sports, 901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Need a little extra cash? Go see Rusty at Golden Gym Pond, 310 West Center in Greenwood. Get the money you need with loans on jewelry, guns, tools, and electronics. If you're looking for a gift, they have a large selection of jewelry to choose from, and Rusty can take care of all jewelry repair. Stop by Golden Gym Pond today, 310 West Center in Greenwood, or call 996-2792. Open 9 to 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 9 to 3 on Wednesday. Golden Gym Pond.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
And the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. So I stuck my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask him why. He said, you look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you do. So I took out my hat and said, can't you read the sign?
Make sure to follow Sam on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
kudos to Ryan McGee from ESPN for reminding everybody on social media today is the anniversary of Breakfast Club Detention Day. It was March 24th, 1984.
53 years ago today, The Godfather came out, too.
How about that? That's a good – the story of how The Godfather came out is a movie in and of itself. They actually made a whole show about it. It was really, really good. 877-377-6963 to get with us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. The Razorbacks are in the Sweet 16. They're the Cinderella of the Sweet 16. That is the truth. William's with us first. He's in Lafayette. Hey, William, good morning. What's going on?
Good morning. How y'all doing today?
We're great. It's a fabulous Monday.
It is a fabulous Monday, Phil. Yes, it is. I'd like to get y'all guys' opinion on a couple things. Phil, I think you touched on it a little bit before the break. I don't think it's a fluke, right? Hunter Dickinson, second team All-American, shut him down, right? Play St. John's the next game, and they're All-American, Big East Player of the Year, shut him down, right? Once, yeah, that might be a fluke. Twice, that's some consistency. When we went up there to Providence, probably about 90% St. John's fans essentially won an NCAA road tournament game and beat those guys playing their game. Like, they just can't understand how someone could out-physical them and out-tough them while also out-athlete them. We whipped them, all right? So thinking about this is what I like to get you guys' opinion on. Y'all covered a lot of teams, played on a lot of teams. Have y'all ever had a team y'all covered or played on that's had so many legacy players? I think there's 4 of them, right, that either their dad played for Cal or their brother played for Cal. And I think that synergy and that built-in equity is what got us through the dark times and helped us come out the backside with something to prove and just part of the turnaround. And I'd like to get you guys' thoughts on that.
William, that's an interesting point to make there. And there's the 2 things to hit on. One, taking the best player out of the game, which they've done 2 games in a row, and the other about the legacies. I think the legacies just speaks to how Cal has been with I don't know if it's all of the players, but 100% of them, but it certainly seems like it's a lot of them, that they all love him. I mean, they're all coming back to visit. They're all rooting for his team, and most of them have kids, right, who play basketball and may have the same sort of athletic DNA, and they're going to be told by their dad, look, you're going to go play for Cal. You're good enough, and we're going to work on this. You're good enough. You're going to play for Coach Cal like I did. I mean, that's what loyalty's all about. That has to be – I can't think of another team that's had so many legacies. But to me, for a guy that's been around so long like Cal, it just speaks to how much his players adore him. And it isn't just about coming back and visiting. It isn't just about, rooting for him and not necessarily maybe the school that you played for. You want to send your kid to play for somebody that you trust. They obviously trust and love him, Matt.
Yeah, man, he's players coach. It's something they believe. They have belief. They've seen it. There's a trust. There's a belief. You look at Jace Richardson from Michigan State. His dad played for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. So it happens all over, and it's like I talk about being sports psychology. A lot of it's about relationships, and Coach Cal, he knows how to do it.
Now, on the other thing about how Arkansas has taken Dickinson and Lewis out of the game, I think so much of it is because they don't know who it is that they've got to get the ball up and around from. Now, there's your initial defender, but then there's 3 or 4 other players that may be around you who all have the ability to swat the ball away. Think about this here. Carter Knox, at times, may have been one of the shortest players on the court. But yet he led the team in block shots. He's such an athletic kid. He can just get up there and get up there quickly and then get up there again quickly. Billy Richmond is the same way. Brazil, shot blocker, got the height, got the leaping ability. Jonas Adu, he can knock one down. Even Nelly can block a shot. All of them can block a shot. And that's one of the stats, Matt, that's a little bit difficult to figure out the effectiveness of it, because you think, well, a shot block may go out of bounds, may still end up being the opponent's possession, or may go into your opponent's hands, and maybe he lays it up and in. But I think there's a residual effect from all of these shot blockers, not just one guy you got to worry about. It's not like it's just Dikembe Mutombo out there and nobody else. There's an effect from that. It's in the back of your mind. It's like, well, all right, I see Adu here, but where the heck is Knox? I got to put this up, and oh my gosh, I missed it because I'm worried about somebody else that has already blocked 2 or 3 shots of somebody else. It's that there is a residual effect. You look at how many shots they blocked against St. John's, Matt, it's 7. There must have been another 7, 8, 9, 10 that were either altered or in those St. John's players' minds. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense to me for them to miss so many shots around the rim. I mean, in that restricted area, they really struggled to connect.
54 misses. You know, it's a little bit on talent, and then it's a little bit on how Arkansas played defense. And it's length in basketball. It's so hard. You know, they say you can't coach speed and you can't coach length. Like, it's just you either got it or you don't. And we're one of the longest teams. And you know, Brazil with his help side defense, and then Jonas Adu, how well he's. I mean, it's just a totally different team than just a few weeks ago.
That's right. Let's go to Brent and Cersei on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Good morning, Brent. Happy Sweet 16. How are you?
Happy Sweet 16, Matt and Phil. Hey, Phil, I got 2 questions. One about basketball and one about our baseball team.
Shoot.
We're going to go baseball first, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
This is the best 25-game stretch that the Razorbacks have ever had, correct?
It must be. 23 and 2. 23 and 2 is pretty crazy.
That is, Phil, I got. How do you? I mean, how do you explain the production table setter between 9 and 1 in our lineup between Justin Thomas? We got 2 leadoff hitters in, right?
Kind of. I mean, Dave likes to use that 9 spot as an added leadoff guy. It's just Thomas, you know, he's driving runs in. I mean, he was one of the big run producers of this series sweep.
He knocked in with a 5 or 4, something like that. And then Davalon, as a leadoff man, he is absolutely dangerous.
Yeah, Brent, I mean, you just put it. We're running out of your signal here, Brent. But you just put it. It's a scary lineup, 1 through 9. And it was 1 through 6 until the Carolina series. And then Thomas got going in this last one. Helfrich did too. This last series with South Carolina, in which the Hogs literally beat the tar out of the Gamecocks. It was a 1 through 9 thing. It's a whole team thing, and it's the same idea as the basketball team. You don't know who can beat you, but you know there's a bunch of them who can, and that's what they're doing right now. Brent, appreciate you, man, and I think we were running out of your cell phone signal. Let's see if we got you back if you want the basketball question. Yeah. Brent sometimes has a little trouble finding the right place, but he'll find a place, and he will end up calling back. Hey, want to remind you about the Stadium Shop. You got to get over to the Stadium Shop. If you're heading out to San Francisco, make sure you got all the newest Razorback gear right there on your head, on your chest, and on your feet, or waving all around the arena in San Francisco, where the Hogs will be playing against Texas Tech on Thursday night. The Stadium Shop, it's got all things Razorback, and you won't find any place that's more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. 479-STADIUM is the phone number. ShopOnRazorback.com is the web address, and they're right by Ballwalker Stadium in Fayetteville. Let them know ESPN sent you. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation joining us right after the break.
This is halftime.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Shirley's Tax Service has been serving the River Valley for 49 years and has won the Times record Best of the Best 8 years running. Shirley's is in the top 2% of independent tax offices nationwide. Shirley's takes pride in providing superior service at a price a working person can afford. Shirley's has 6 locations, now open in Ozark. So if you're looking for the best, fast, friendly, professional service in town at a price a working person can afford, call Shirley's Tax Service today, 922-1040. That's 922-1040.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Join us for the legendary adventure Mystery at the Forest on Saturday, April 26th. Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center invites you to share this magical evening of excitement, mystery, and fun. If you are a business or individual looking to sponsor a heartfelt organization or to buy tickets, please visit our Facebook page for more information or call our office at 479-452-2260.
Picture it. It's a day like any other. You're stuck in traffic on Rogers Avenue during rush hour. You're just ready to get home and relax with your family. And then, just like that, your life can change in an instant. And you're going to need a lawyer to make it right. I'm Phil Votaw with Phil Votaw & Associates. If this happens to you, call me, 479-434-6200, or online at votawlaw.com. I'm Phil Votaw, and you've never met a lawyer like me.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV. With hands-free driving assistance, go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $800 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You got so much love, little Jeannie, and you take you got so much love, little Jeannie. So I see you when I can. You make
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Getting Mike Irwin on the phone. Pig Trail Nation's Mike Irwin will be joining us here shortly. Phil Elson, Matt Jones on Halftime here on ESPN Arkansas and the Hit That Line Now app. Looking through some texts here. There's some baseball questions. Some folks are wondering about Gabe Gackle, who was subpar against South Carolina on Saturday, did not make it out of the second inning. Some wildness, got hit hard once again. And I would be surprised if there could be a change this weekend. I'm not saying there will be, but I think they're considering the idea that it's not a matter of stuff. It's not metrics for Gackle. His velocity's up. His breaking stuff is breaking. It's just his location's been very bad, and maybe it's just a matter of not being locked in when you got to be locked in. So there could be a possibility of maybe changing the role a little bit. And, we haven't seen Arkansas use a quote-unquote opener in a long time, a starting pitcher that might just go 1 or 2. That may be what they're thinking about. And then you could be bringing Gackle in the third. He's been a reliever before, so just trying to tweak something slightly to try to figure that out. We'll see. They haven't announced any pitchers this weekend. They won't until Thursday. I'm sure there'll be some questions about that. Here's Pig Trail Nation's Mike Irwin with us on Halftime today. Good morning, Mike. Happy Monday. Happy Sweet 16.
Hey, guys. I haven't looked to see if the polls are out yet, but with LSU losing 2 or 3, I got to believe Arkansas are going to move up at least to number 2 in baseball.
Yeah, I saw the D1 baseball poll. They are number 2 in that poll. I wouldn't be surprised for them to move up in the others as well, just because of LSU's series loss. But Tennessee went 2-2 last week, so I don't think they'll get knocked out of. And they won their weekend series, so I don't think they'll drop out of number 1.
And Georgia, that was a surprise to me. Texas is going to be moving up, doing what they did to LSU. So it's good for the Hog baseball team. I mean, they're up to number 2 in the SEC in batting. Who would have thought that? I mean, good grief, their numbers are going up there. And, they're up there. I don't know where they are in home runs. There's
third.
Yeah, fourth. I don't know. I got a bunch of notes scribbled down here that I can't read anymore, but I mean, good grief, they're hitting the home runs. The team batting average is up, and the ERA itself is not bad. And I don't know what you guys were talking about before I came on, but they got to be concerned about the starting rotation. But they've got so many pitchers, they've got options as to what to do with that. And it's not like Arkansas has given up too many home runs lately. That's the problem. Some of their starters have just. I don't know, I'm watching these guys, and I can't believe it. They're bringing the ball right over the plate too much. And it's not what we saw earlier. And with Gackle, it's not what we saw last year. So it's just hard to figure out what's happening there, other than you could sit here and say, well, maybe he's just not comfortable, being a starter. Maybe he's better coming out of the pen. But it's not like they don't have options. And it's not like their team ERA has gone to seed in a handbasket. They're still pretty good,
Well, we got Sweet 16, though, too. You got a number 2 baseball team. You got a 10th seeded basketball team that is, look, that's not a 10 seed, Mike. I understand they are the Cinderella of the tournament, but that's only based upon, what their record is and what their seed is. Because I know that Texas Tech is favored, but I think the Razorbacks are a problem. And where they are a problem, Mike, is defensively, and it's in the paint. They're tough to score against in that lane and around the rim.
Well, they've been a surprise. I mean, the CBS people have been wrong right, all the way down the line, even to the point of after the St. John's game, they're sitting there scratching their heads on how Arkansas won, and they kept bringing up that offensive rebound disparity. Well, it doesn't help St. John's to have all those offensive rebounds if you're shooting like 20% from the floor. So that sort of negated that. But Arkansas, they're scoring points in the paint. Their defense in the paint is good. Their transition game is good. They're running right now a lot. And I'm just telling you, Wagner and John L. both are doing a good job up top of probing and finding that little slot in the lane where you can just drive right in and lay the ball up. That's hard to do. A lot of times you get tied up. Maybe you get a foul sometimes, But how many times have we seen a guy try that in this tournament, any game you want to watch, and the ball just ends up going out of bounds? It's just hard to attack a packed-in defense like that and find a hole, but they did that several times. And then how about Boogie? I mean, the surprise to me, first of all, Lenardi actually said Arkansas was going to lose to Kansas because Cal decided to play Boogie. He said that would cost him the game. Yeah, even I didn't think that, and I thought Boogie might struggle because of how long he'd been out. But when Cal explained, look, it's a trial. You just put him out there and see what happens. If he's not contributing, you put him on the bench. And I think he's done a great job of playing within himself and just waiting and until he has a chance to contribute, whether it's an assist, because he's had a couple of really impressive assists. He's hit a few shots. He hasn't tried to dominate. He's just been there to help coming off the bench. And then, Billy Richmond, what he did, leading scorer in that game, they didn't expect him to do that. And there was a problem, the way the game was officiated, to a large part, it took Jonas Adu out of the game offensively. He played far fewer minutes, and he scored way less points in that game. I still thought he played good defense and rebounded well, but he was on the bench too much, and so somebody else has got to make that up. And Richmond comes in and does that. They have so many options. And where we saw criticism of this team early in the year, hey, there's all this NIL money, but what are they doing? It's like, what's the NIL money? Well, he got good players with that NIL money. And now as we get into the end of the year, you're seeing the talent. Arkansas is not, they had as much talent as anybody they've played lately. And that includes some of those games, in the SEC late where they either won or played really well against teams like Auburn and Alabama. So who knows? I think they might beat Texas Tech. I do. I think if you overlook Arkansas, it's at your own peril.
Mike, you're right. This is an unselfish team, and Billy Richmond and Carter Knox both bounced back after the first game. Neither one of them really played great, and then they both played fantastic in the second game. But I want to talk about DJ Wagner. Mike, I haven't seen anybody stay in front of him yet in this tournament. Do you think Texas Tech might throw a little zone at us?
Well, they might, especially after seeing, how effective that was at times, when they've seen it. But Arkansas has faced the zone before. I just think they have a way of they'll figure it out if that happens. I think their defense is going to get tested because Texas Tech likes to run and they can score. So they're going to have to play good defense in that game. But I do think it's interesting that the SEC was getting ridiculed after the first round, the round of 64, but now it's all falling into place because you've got half the SEC teams that went into this tournament are in the Sweet 16. That's never happened before. That's incredible to have 7 in. And I think you see the cream come to the top. And as you said, Phil, Arkansas is a 10 seed, but are they really a 10 seed? Well, they'll stay a 10 seed, but they're better than that.
That's right. That's right. And look, Mike, the people that were ripping the SEC for whatever happened in the first round before the first round was over, they're the same people that said that just really, all right, Cal's, the game's passed him by. He's archaic. Arkansas didn't know what they were getting into. It's just the regular story of let things play out. Now, I have to at least put a rejoinder on there. At 0-5 and Boogie's out, I didn't think you'd see 3 or 4 SEC wins. But I also didn't. We heard so much with the injuries to Adu and to Nelly Davis, and now the injury with Davis has almost become like a running joke during the press conferences about him falling out of the golf cart. But if you were to pick 2 things that mean more than anything about this run, and it's so difficult because it's a team that's deep amongst the 8 guys that are getting minutes, any one of them can beat you, except maybe right now Z. But if you were to say the reasons why they are where they are and they had this resurgence is because Nelly got healthy and Adu got healthy, and they are the players now that Cal and that staff thought they were when they signed him.
And I would add one more thing. Putting Wagner, who's taller, more physical, in at point guard has, I think, helped him too. Those 3 things And then you bring Boogie back, and he's in a different role, and he's playing well in that role. So, and then as the season wore along, Carter Knox got better. He just did, and so you see Billy Richmond and Carter Knox just start to improve as the season goes along. And so you throw all that into the mix, and this is just a team you don't want to play right now. You just don't. And, of course, we're rapidly reaching the point in which SEC teams are going to start to play each other. The first one happens, this week in this next round. But then after that, whoever survives, if it's more SEC teams, they're going to start playing each other, and that's going to get really interesting.
So I've seen a question about this asked. What would the season have been like if you start 0-5 and Muss is the coach? Would you be where you are right now? And I think you legitimately could end up being where you were with Muss. It would just been a different path. You remember, I forget the year it was, but they lost back-to-back games by blowouts. I think one of them was at LSU. And the next thing you know, they're running practice with they're holding bricks up in the air and running. I mean, he ran those guys. It's not like he took it out on them, but he tried things to make them tough, and it worked out. Cal does things a different way, and you couldn't have practiced with the bricks raised up like that because he didn't have enough players to do it. But it's like I think both of these coaches have faced this situation. It's just with Cal, he hadn't faced it before. With Muss, you had, and he got that team to the Elite Eight too.
Well, that's a hard thing to explain to people because I'm seeing some fans now start to criticize Cal. And I'm like, are you crazy? He's part of the resurgence, a big part of the resurgence of Arkansas back into the tournament. There was a 25-year period or so in which through Eddie and Nolan, Arkansas was mostly in the tournament and doing well. And then we had that dry period and fans just hated it. Well, now, thanks to Musselman, you got back in it with 1 year left out. And now here Cal comes in and you're back there again. And I don't know if he's here 2 or 3 more years, you can extend this. And then it puts him in a position to go out and get somebody that'll keep him there. So it looks like Arkansas basketball is back. But those two coaches are 180 degrees from each other. Mm-hmm. And I got to go back all the way to when I was a kid, and it wasn't basketball, but in other sports I played baseball and football. I played for coaches that were, Musselman was tough on these guys. He was tough on his staff. He yelled and screamed and cussed and got mad and threw fits sometimes during games. Cal's more low key, he's more instructive. He's more, he's going to keep them going emotionally. Both of those things can work. Eddie Sutton said this years ago. I remember being in a press conference, and Arkansas was getting ready to play Houston. Houston was very good, but the belief at that time was Houston was all just talent, whereas Arkansas was doing what it was doing with coaching. And somebody made the comment in this press conference that Guy Lewis in practice just throws the ball out there, excuse me, and they play pickup basketball. And Eddie Sutton said, no, there's a lot of different ways to coach. So,
Mike, you all right? You okay back there?
I don't know. I swallowed something. I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, I know what that feels like. Well, we'll end it there, and I hope you're all right. It sounds like you're okay, but every once in a while I'll swallow a fly as well. It's Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation. Always appreciate his time. 877-377-6963 on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I was with my son last night after the baseball game, and we wanted like a little something sweet and delicious. Well, there was an ice cream place to the left. There's Andy's Frozen Custard to the right. There's like, son, we got to go get a concrete at Andy's Frozen Custard. And so we got the Ooey Gooey concrete blended with Heath Bar, cream caramel, and almonds. You can find that and all sorts of other delicious frozen treats at Andy's Frozen Custard's locations in Conway, Fort Smith, and in North Little Rock. You can take home a pick 6. That's 6 of your favorite flavors. It's the perfect treat for the family and for game time. Andy's Frozen Custard, walk up or drive through. They are ready to serve you. And we're back to wrap up hour number 1 after this.
I hate rude behavior in a man. Won't tolerate it.
This is halftime.
Save up to $5,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com. Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a store card. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
At Mosquito Joe, we're constantly looking for ways to make your outdoor experience better. That's why we always use the latest technology.
Technology? To get rid of bugs?
Well, most mosquito treatments only eliminate mosquitoes that are around when it's applied. But did you know, at Mosquito Joe, we use products that are microencapsulated, so they continue to work for weeks after our technician leaves your property.
Now that's pretty cool.
Yeah, at Mosquito Joe, we love making outside fun again. Advanced products, top quality service, and all done with a satisfaction guarantee.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Spring is in the air, and Gelco Outdoors has all the gear you need to get outside and enjoy the spring season. Just arrived, crispy footwear, comfortable boots for hiking, hunting, and work to help you cover some ground. Spring clothing by Ariat, Wrangler, Under Armour, and more. Just arrived hunting gear for spring turkey season. Shotguns, ammo, clothing, and footwear. And the largest selection of turkey calls around. Think spring, think Gelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town. And they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Bent. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Earlier in the show, Matt Jones, Greg in Fort Smith had texted in. I think it was during the morning rush. He's asked if if Ty knew who George Foreman is, and Ty answers back, old boxer, and it's just like, okay, hold on a moment. There's a lot of people you could say was an old boxer. But that was a part of George Foreman. That he was George freaking Foreman. There wasn't anybody ever like him. And it wasn't just the boxing. I think it was the personality that went along with it, the style of boxing, too. I've never seen anybody do, what was it called? Remember the way he would defend the punches? The lobster defense, just throwing those arms cross against his body to block a Michael Moore jab. And then, of course, there's the grill, which I don't even know if people buy that thing anymore. But he wasn't just an old boxer. That was George freaking Foreman.
Yeah, it's instead of doing Netflix, that's what the kids did back in the day. They had a George Foreman in their dorm room. Now all the kids do Netflix. But George had said that he made more money on that George Foreman grill than he did in anything else. Same thing with John Madden, the old football coach that took the Raiders to the Super Bowl. He said he made more money off of an NFL video game that he didn't even know what it was, and ended up making that amount of money. And then your boy Tony Hawk, you know what his check was for the first pro skater? When he had no idea either. He's like, we're gonna make a pro skater. Talking with the EA Sports people, and he's about 18 months later they came back and gave him a $4 million check. That's how good that pro skater. I mean, everybody played that video game.
But if you want to go the boxing route with Foreman, and that would be the right way to go potentially here, it's the idea that this was a guy that was a world champion that fought in one of the most iconic fights of all time against Muhammad Ali. He retired for 10 years, comes back, and wins the title again in his 40s. He's the greatest old boxer of all time. Never anybody like him. Never will be anybody like him. Rest in peace. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We're celebrating a Sweet 16 trip. The new women's basketball coach, Kelsey Music, is being introduced in about 4 minutes up the road at Bud Walton Arena. And we got a number 2 baseball team in the country as well. And it's halftime. Stay with us.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Founded in 1976, Moix RV has always focused on bringing family and friends together, and this has never been truer than now. As we continue into our 50th year, we are proud to be a family-owned and operated Arkansas original. With marquee manufacturers like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Forest River, and Winnebago, we have the RV for your next adventure at prices that will not be beat. Moix RV, built for adventure, rooted in Arkansas. Visit us in Conway, Hot Springs, and Springdale, or online at moixrv.com.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, or gutters, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline. The game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
Le dije, vamos a hacer maldades. Después yo te traje. Pago ya el mahones si no baila pa' que sale. Aquí están mis anormales. Tú mueves ese nalga. Esto es pa' las nenas nuevas, pa' los nenes, pa' la
It's back! The Ultimate Challenge at Lewis Automotive, and it's bigger than ever. We're on a mission to sell 555 vehicles in the month of March, no matter what it takes. We've got more than 1,000 vehicles to choose from, more than $2 million in discounts, and we're not holding anything back. All month long, get up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% financing on select models.
Payments start at $199 a month.
Find the ultimate selection, the ultimate discounts, the ultimate financing, and the ultimate amount for your trade.
Only at the Lewis Automotive Group's Ultimate Challenge.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the
basketball game. I wasn't even going to follow the score. I knew at some point I'd find out what was going on just based upon the reaction of the baseball crowd watching the basketball game. And Bubba keeps messing around with me. He's like, I'm going to tell you the score. I'm going to tell you the score. It's like, no, don't do it. He didn't do it. And then I forget exactly the moment that it happened, but it's late in the baseball game. There was no tension from the baseball game because the Hogs scored 8 in the first inning and basically put it away. And then all of a sudden, things get real quiet. Must have been in the last 4 minutes of the game when St. John's got really close. And then the next thing you know, it's about 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes later, there's a little bit of a rumble going through the crowd. You start to hear some cheers. You hear people's hands going together. It wasn't for anything happening during the baseball game. And then they stood up and they called the Hogs in the middle of an inning break for no baseball reason whatsoever. The guys in the dugout at that point knew exactly what was going on. And it was just a very cool and felt like a unique moment. And then the baseball team goes out and finishes the ball game, and I got a chance to watch the game later on at night. And I appreciated the Razorback fans being the barometer for me, because up till then, I had no clue what was going on in Providence. I was dialed in on the baseball game. So that's I just don't know if I'll experience something like that again, because next week, if you win in the Sweet 16, which I'm thinking Arkansas will against Texas Tech, and you play in the Elite Eight, I'll be at a Vanderbilt, Arkansas baseball game, and those folks in Nashville just really won't care about that game at all.
Well, our bracket challenge, I think you're in the lead, Phil, with 12. The unit has 11, and I have 10 of the Sweet 16 teams left. So right now, I think you're in the lead, the best I can tell. So good luck.
All right, thanks. I'm doing pretty well in the Hit That Line picks as well. Looks like Tommy's got the best score along with C-Bracket over there, and Andy Hodges, who runs our hitthatline.com website. I got the fourth best along with DQ. So, again, I made those picks in 7 minutes, sitting at breakfast on my phone, did no research. And you know what that means? I went with a lot of chalk. If you went with a lot of chalk, and you usually try not to do that in these brackets, you did the exact right thing. And don't forget, we have a different sort of a bracket on hitthatline.com. It's not just a full bracket from the round of 64 to the very end. we do the picks all over again in the Sweet 16 and then in the Final Four. So if you didn't have a good round of 32 or round of 64, forget about it. You can still have the top score on hitthatline.com's bracket challenge thanks to the Sweet 16. So just get it up there right now. It's brought to you by Moix RV of Arkansas, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, Heartland Honda in Northwest Arkansas, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley. Let's go to the phones. We got Charlie here with us. Happy Sweet 16 Monday, Charlie. How are you? Charlie, he ran out of cell phone. There you are. For a moment, I thought maybe
you hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Okay, well, it's a great day to be alive, Phil. It's a great day to be a hog.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have asked me all these few things just a few months ago, I would have thought that maybe, you were crazy. I was crazy for even believing it. Both of us probably needed to get checked out. Something was wrong. This team, they're inspiring in a sense because I don't know how they've done what they've done, but I will say this. You asked me a few weeks back, Phil, you asked me a question. You were talking about, this team, kind of winning a few games down the stretch, but then you talked about the tournament. Can this team go to the tournament and win a few games independent of whatever was going on at that point? And you said, do you believe that could happen? And I said, I didn't really know. I thought it would depend on matchups. Now, that they are where they are now, the Sweet 16, I don't want people – this is the thing that kind of frustrates me as a fan. People, we all know St. John's isn't a good shooting team, but listen, people want to take away from Arkansas winning this game. Some people. I'm not – St. John's is a hell of a team. I don't care what anyone says. They are an unbelievable team. And, Chuck had corrected me this morning. He was like, he didn't think St. John's was that athletic. I think they were athletic. I just don't think they were as athletic as we are. I think we are as athletic as anybody in the country, period, bar none. Does that mean we're going to go out there and win every game? No. But I think when you play in the SEC and you get your teeth kicked in a few times and you learn, the physicality, the athleticism, I got to be able to match that. And that's what these kids had to learn early. Matt, you remember, we were 0-5. You were on here saying, ain't nobody going to feel sorry for nobody. These guys are going to, control what happens from here on out. And I think just the fact that they came together through it all is insane to me because, Phil, this team is full of, all different personalities. I've kind of picked up on it throughout the year. You got a guy in Billy Richmond, right, who could care less. And I love that about him. That's his game. He plays that way. Does that get him in trouble sometimes? Yeah. But you got to have those guys that are so fearless too. Then you got Carter and Boogie. Okay, if they make a few mistakes, then it kind of gets in their head. But for Cal to be able to pull all this together, wrap all this up, all these personalities, and where we are now, I'm almost stunned in a sense. But then at the same time, it's a lot of it is because I look at the stat sheet and go, how did we win that game? But man, it's just crazy. And Boogie Flynn, I don't think has a turnover, does he, Matt, in these first two games? Unbelievable. I know he hasn't, necessarily shot the ball well yet, but that'll come. His ability these first two games to just help this team have been remarkable, especially on the defensive end. And Phil, the baseball thing, the 3-0 sweep, what a job. Dominated. I know South Carolina may not be, I don't know how good you think they are. Are there still any concerns for this team? Obviously starting pitching at times, but where are you with them right now? Because I thought they did a heck of a job too. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Sure, you got it. Matt, let's start with basketball here. You can't treat this St. John's game like St. John's was just missing layups in a layup drill. This was defense. Some of it was just missing some layups. Most of it is defense. Most of it is a one block shot, I think, can lead to another shot that's altered or another shot where your guy isn't going up as confidently or as strongly as he usually would. Look, St. John's not a good three-point shooting team. We knew that. But they were unable to get the fast break going. That was a thing, their whole pace. And to me, Arkansas, I think, had the better athletes, and I think that their defense around the rim is the reason they won that game.
There was like a 6-minute stretch where I think Arkansas wasn't in control, but for about 34, 35 of the minutes, yeah, we were the better team. We controlled the tempo, and defense travels. You got to play defense if you're going to advance in this tournament. You're not just going to be able to outscore everybody. And St. John's, they play a physical type of basketball. They had some veteran guys that, had some of their worst games of the year. I mean, Aaron Scott, 1 of 10. Their star, 12. Luis, he was 3 of 17. I mean, you gotta that comes from us making it stressful for him. Length, making it stressful. Then they start thinking about it, and then the cream rose to the top.
Now, in terms of Arkansas shooting, I guess you could look at this two ways. Matt, they're 2-0 in the NCAA tournament, going 8 for 43 from the three-point line. Now, that means they've won 2 games without shooting very well from deep. You say, well, you can't continue like that. I would like to offer the idea that they won't go 2 for 19 against Texas Tech. Boogie is not going to be 1 for 9 for very long, as streaky as Trevin is. Brazil's 1 for 10 from deep. The only guy who's connected is Nelly. Boogie, soon that shot will come back, and it's the same with Brazil. Like they're not going to be 8 for 43 for the remainder of this tournament. I mean, that's my hope, but that's also my expectation.
They're doing a lot of things well, matching the physicality. They're not turning the ball over, and that's something they haven't done all year. I think Tech they'll throw some wrinkles. I think they'll try to throw a couple things that we haven't seen, just like Kansas did. If it's that triangle and 2 that Coach Cal was talking about, if it's some type of zone, because we have a couple guys. I mean, Phil, I haven't seen anybody yet stay in front of DJ Wagner in this tournament. And so what makes me think that Texas Tech is going to have somebody who can stay in front of him? And then you talk about Brazil's 3-point. Man, some of those were really good looks. I think 2 of those were in and out. I mean, you just got to keep trying to get open looks, uncontested looks, and keep firing.
And in terms of baseball, Charlie asked about the weekend. I don't think South Carolina is very good. I think that's a team that's going to struggle. But in terms of, the Razorbacks did to them, I think what they should have done to them, which is blow them out. And it's understood that it took until the 8th inning to get it going yesterday, but then they blew them out. So maybe waiting in the weeds or whatever, but they still have some pitchers that can get guys out. Concerns right now, you want Christian Fouch to be pitching better than he is. He's just, right now the stuff doesn't equal the results for Fouch. And he was supposed to be closing, and Wiggins is going to end up closing now until Fouch figures it out. We saw him yesterday, and he wasn't very good. And then Gackle's the other thing that you got to figure out. But the bullpen is really deep. This Aiden Jimenez, who came out and finished, he didn't finish, but he took over for Gackle in the 2nd inning on Saturday. He's the Oregon State transfer. I don't think they expected that he would be able to give him 4 1/3 of relief at any point this year. And Matt Hobbs told me the difference for Jimenez right now is his cutter. He's a kind of pitcher that's a little bit like McIntyre, but with more velocity and a harder, tighter, more of a biting cutter. And he can give you the same kind of innings. Watch out for Aiden Jimenez. I don't know if maybe they'll start him at some point, but if they're thinking about the idea of an opener for Gackle, Jimenez could be that guy. But Gackle is a bit of a concern. You can't act like he's pitching as well as he's expected to or as he should be pitching. As far as offensively, I don't know if I got anything for you right now. And that's amazing to think about. Can Justin Thomas continue to hit the way he did this last weekend? If not, he's good enough in center field and there's enough hitters in the lineup to pick up some of the slack. Will Helfrich continue to hit the way that he did this last week? I think Saturday was his first ever 3-hit game. And he's not hitting so many foul balls outside third. He's keeping them fair now. So, and fielding-wise, there's no concerns. Arkansas is right now, and fielding percentage isn't always the way to look at it, but it's a group of guys who have range. They will take some hits away from you, and I think the Heba Aloy could be the best shortstop in the SEC fielding-wise. But they lead the nation in fielding percentage. So concerns for the baseball team right now, my concern is it's really difficult to win a series at Vanderbilt. I've never seen them do it. I've been there 3 times. That's coming up this weekend. So we'll see if they can do something that some of the other really good Arkansas teams could not do. 877-377-6963 is our phone number on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. You want to get over to Twin Peaks and Rogers late Thursday night. You got a 9:15 tip, and it may be later than that. Twin Peaks will be a fabulous place to watch Sweet 16 basketball. They got rare bourbons all month long, an exclusive and extensive collection of some incredibly rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. Barrel selects as well that are handpicked by their team and bottled just for you. That's Twin Peaks and Rogers. They'll have the game blasting from every single angle, 29-degree draft beer, and made from scratch fan favorites. And, of course, their famous scenic views. Always more to watch at Twin Peaks. In just a moment, it's 3 Up, 3 Down with Dr. Charlie Liggett from River Valley Smile Center. Stay with halftime.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years.
To the Elite Eight for the first time since 1995.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Looking for a way to get your favorite lawyers from Pradco at the click of a button? Learner.com not only has brands such as Rebel, Yum, Booyah, and more, but the site includes exclusive deals and baits you won't find anywhere else for your favorite brands. We have free shipping for all U.S. orders over $35, so be sure to treat your favorite fishing buddy or yourself to some new tackle box treasures. Check out Learner.com today.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come get you some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroof, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, now 17 years in the industry. Favorite hog memory growing up, Cecil?
When we beat OU in the Orange Bowl in 1978, I was living in Allen Grove Projects, and it was a shutout at halftime, and I ran out of the house. I ran from one end of the projects to the other end screaming, "Go Hogs." I'll never forget that. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Save up to $5,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It is a Monday. We got Dr. Charlie Liggett with us from River Valley Smile Center. We got lots to hit on. In fact, Dr. Charlie's got a different thing that he wants to do today. This is 3 Up, 3 Down.
It's time for 3 Up, 3 Down.
Presented by River Valley Smile Center with Dr. Charles Liggett.
Right. 3, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning, strike 3.
Matt, Charlie told me that if Arkansas finished a sweep of South Carolina, he wouldn't do any downs. It would just be 6 up today. So are you that happy today, Charlie?
Man, are you kidding me? We got everything good. We got 9 wins in 6 days. Has that ever happened?
Maybe
9 Razorback wins in 6 days.
That's a lot of them. You're counting basketball. You're counting softball too.
Yep.
All right. Well,
And-
that'll work. What do you think, Matt? 6 up?
Jordan Anthony probably won another 60-meter race, so yeah, let's do it.
It's because he found himself again, right?
You know.
So no downs for me today. I'm straight up.
All right, I'll start. My first up goes to Vahiba Aloy, and it has nothing to do with his hitting. Now, he's taken a step forward offensively. He's a better hitter now. He's laying off breaking balls, and that's the first thing about him. But where he's also improved, and I think where he was good last year, is as a shortstop. He's a really good shortstop. You get this question sometimes from people who do understand that if you're a really good shortstop in college, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're good enough to play shortstop in professional baseball. Just think of a guy like Jax Biggers, part of the Razorbacks 2018-2019 College World Series teams. Jax was a tremendous college shortstop. He doesn't play shortstop in pro ball. He doesn't have the arm strength for it. Vahiba Aloy has the arm strength for it. He has the range for it. He has the athleticism for it. He has the body type for it. And he has the innate ability and knowledge of how to create your own hop as a shortstop. Nothing ever surprises him. And he's always at the right place at the right time. I've seen I guess I've seen 5 shortstops if you count the rotation that Ole Miss and South Carolina used. Vahiba Aloy, half of Vahiba Aloy is better than all those shortstops put together. He's a great shortstop. And Jalen Battles was great. Jax Biggers was great. Vahiba Aloy is just as good at that position as they are, maybe even better. And my down goes to the opponent's shortstop play. If you want to look at the main difference between Arkansas and the opponents that they've played in the SEC so far, you can look at hitting, you can look at pitching, The Razorbacks are 50 times better in the field than those two teams. And if you don't have a good shortstop, and Ole Miss does not, and neither does South Carolina, you don't have anything on a baseball field. It starts with shortstop when it comes to defense in the field for baseball. And that's why Arkansas, that's one of the reasons Arkansas is so good, is because Aloy is great. And they're going to have a leg up on just about everybody else they play. I was floored at the shortstop play by Ole Miss. The kid, and I feel for him, he's a freshman. I'm sure he's really talented. That's the same school that had Jacob Gonzalez and Gray Kessinger, who are tremendous shortstops, who are playing shortstop at the next level. The kid they had there is terrible. Made no sense to me. So that's a huge difference between Arkansas and everybody else they played. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, the first up, want to thank Fridays and one of my high school teammates, Rodney Stewart. He was out there at Fridays last week when we were out there and bought me a Guinness, so I appreciate that, man, big time. And then my first down, it's kind of an up-down thing. It would be to the SEC. I thought they would get 4 teams in the Sweet 16. They got 7.
That's crazy.
Out of control.
That's crazy. That's 7 out of 14 teams. That's almost half of the entire league that's in the Sweet 16. Craziness. Okay, Dr. Charlie.
All right. So my first up, I'm just going to break down the week that we've had since the last show. So Tuesday, Hogs beat Oral Roberts. Wednesday, Hogs ruled Oral Roberts. They sent 17 to the plate in an inning. Have we ever done that before? I don't think so. But
Well, with it's 7. No, I'd never seen a 17. I'd never seen. Charlie, been watching baseball since I was like 4. I've never seen 17 batters in one inning before.
I know. I so wanted them to send 18 so we could bat around twice. But Thursday we beat KU in round 1 of March Madness. Friday, Hogs rule South Carolina. Saturday, we beat South Carolina 12-3 and then beat St. John's by 9. Softball team beats number 7 Tennessee. And then yesterday, we end up sweeping South Carolina. We lock up the series win versus Tennessee in softball. And so like we talked about before, 9 wins in 6 days. It was just a great week to be a Hog.
That's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins, man.
Let's keep it going because there could be the same amount of games this week. So why not keep winning ball games, right?
Let's go.
You're doing no downs. So go ahead with a second up.
So the second up, we'll just talk a little bit about basketball. We're only the second team to reach the Sweet 16 after starting 0-5 in conference.
Wow.
I didn't see who that other team that did it was, but that's pretty impressive. And in the game against St. John, we gave up 28 offensive boards. We were 2 of 19 from 3 and all kinds of foul trouble, but we still won by 9. I mean, I think that's just an all-around effort. I mean, you hold them to 28% shooting. We scored 46 in the paint. They scored 38. We just took the ball to the rack, and Billy ended up having 16 points and 9 boards. Knox, I think, came in huge with the 9 of 11 from the line. Just about everybody did what they needed to. I mean, just imagine if we hit a few shots, we start shooting. This team can be really tough to deal with.
It's just crazy to think that the guy, if you were to point to one specific player why you beat Kansas, it's Jonas Adu. And then he deals with foul trouble for the entire game against St. John's, and you win anyway. And it wasn't really because of him. It's not like he played poorly or anything, but you won in spite of the fact that your best player against Kansas had to sit a minute into the second half because of picking up another foul. It's just that to me, this is a really tough team to scout. All right, my second up is so you played Kansas. We saw Kansas. Arkansas beat Kansas in the Liberty Bowl. What's the last? Didn't we just see Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl too? It's like this whole postseason thing with Arkansas and Kansas and Texas Tech. It bleeds over from football to basketball. Anybody get St. John's a football team yet? I don't know if they have one, but they might need one, and they might need to sign up and play the Razorbacks in the Liberty Bowl at some point. Second down is mid-majors. I read where this is the first tournament since 1975 where there are no schools that you would classify as a mid-major in the Sweet 16. Admittedly, the college sports landscape in 1975 didn't look anything like it did now. And if you were to point to why there are so many Power 4 schools that are in the Sweet 16, don't you have to look at realignment, that the power leagues have gotten bigger? Houston hasn't been a Big 12 team for all that long. It wasn't that long ago that was an American Conference squad. BYU, they've not been in the Big 12 for very long. I mean, they were an independent football team. I think they played in the Mountain West, right? So, I mean, I think realignment has a lot to do with it. But on the other hand, maybe the portal's got a lot to do with it too. College sports getting a little bit older. The older teams have advanced, and I think some of those older players are moving from mid-majors to power leagues like the SEC. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, you're seeing it all over the place. You got Tesla and Andrew Armstrong that were at Arkansas, coming from it's just easier to recruit Division II or a mid-major to go up against that talent and then go out there and get somebody, especially if they've been through a college offseason. I think you're right. The game is getting older, the college game is. My first up goes to the legend, Coach Ricky Smith at Northside High School. The Lady Grizzlies, I forgot this last week, but they had won another state championship. I think that's 9. I think he's like the Zen Master Phil Jackson. So he one more to complete the set. Shout out to him. Good dude. And then my second down goes to the USA men's national team. A 2-1 loss to Canada. Soccer team's not really getting it going on this year.
I'm told that they, just reading from the coach, said they still have time to figure things out before the World Cup. But that's in a little more than a year, so maybe figure it out now. All right, Dr. Liggett, you're up, number 2.
Okay, third up. All 3 games, just a little bit more about baseball here. All 3 games, South Carolina pitchers threw at least 40 pitches in an inning.
That's different.
Yeah, lots of really, really good at bats, getting deep in counts. We got great production from the bottom half of the lineup. I mean, JT having 6 RBIs. But Friday, specifically, 7-inning complete game by Root. He scattered 6 hits, gave up 2 runs and a walk. You got Davalon, who I only refer to as Nails now because he reminds me so much of Lenny Dykstra, 4 hits. Then Phil's boy, Aloy, with the walk-off home run for the run rule. All-around good day Friday. And then I'll go to my 4th up, which we'll just talk a little bit about Saturday. Jimenez and Big Mac coming in for 7 1/3 scoreless, giving up only 5 hits and no walks after Gackel's struggles. Was really huge. I mean, it's so nice to have a bullpen that can come in and just close the door. And it sure made it a lot less stressful to watch the basketball game with the big 8-run cushion.
Yeah, that would have been why I didn't really want to watch the basketball game, because I didn't want to feel the tension of it while I'm calling baseball. But it worked out for all of us. I got a third up. It's to the life of a gentleman who passed yesterday at the age of 99. His name's Bill Mercer. Maybe some of you have heard of Bill Mercer before. Maybe you remember him as the voice of world-class championship wrestling in the 1980s with the Von Erich brothers. Some of you may have been students of his at the University of North Texas, where he ran the broadcasting class for, I think it was 25 to 30 years. Some of you may have heard him broadcast the Dallas Cowboys in the 1960s, or the Texas Rangers, or broadcast Southwest Conference football on Mutual Radio. I'm going to guarantee you, he called some Razorback games in the 60s for Mutual Radio. I met Mercer in the old press box at Ray Winder Field. It would have been about 2003, 2004. He would join Mike Capps with the Round Rock Express radio crew, and he was just an absolute gem. He was a legend in the broadcast world. This was somebody that when he lived in Dallas and was doing all the Texas Rangers and doing all of the Cowboys games and everything, he still worked in news in the early 1960s. And we know what happened in Dallas in November of 1963. And all the newsmen had to spring into action, and he is there when at the police station, when Oswald is paraded in front of the cameras, and of course he got shot, as we well know, but first he was put in front of the reporters. And Bill Mercer was the man who told Lee Harvey Oswald what he was charged with. And he told me that story in person with a few Coors Lights up in the old press box at Ray Winder Field, and my tongue could not have hung out any farther than that. He was a gentleman. He was a wonderful person, and his legacy lives on through, I think, hundreds of sports broadcasters around the country. He was truly a great man. My third down goes to me for being the idiot who gave his kid the credit card at Friday's baseball game. Now, I can't watch over the kid. He's 12 years old. I love him to death. But when his sister's there, she's got a little bit more of an idea of money. So I give him the credit card and just didn't pay attention to anything for the rest of the game except the baseball game. Tabulated up all that he spent on food afterwards. I'm almost embarrassed to say it. He spent $90 on concessions at Friday's baseball game, which makes me think a couple of things. One, $90 at a Razorback baseball game? That's really high for no matter what, but it's not my job to price things out. And the other thing is, give me the credit card back. Let's have a lesson about money. And did you eat all of that? But that's all my fault. Like, I'm putting that on.
Did he get the ice cream nachos?
I'm putting that on me. No, he didn't. Go ahead, Matt.
Third up goes to this Arkansas Razorback basketball team. Man, just proud of them. What a gritty performance. And the third that would be kind of like a down, but I'm going to go up, is Knox in Richmond. That first game, they didn't play very well, and they totally redeemed themselves in the second game. We don't beat St. John's if Billy Richmond and Carter Knox don't have the games that they had. And just, I mean, it's just, it was just a gritty performance, and it's fun. The atmosphere, I mean, we're just looking at it, man. How cool is it that you're in the Sweet 16 this year?
Very good. Next one, we got to finish this.
Okay, so my fifth up, Sunday baseball. Bottle Cheese struggled early, giving up a couple solo shots, but like DVH says, solo shots weren't going to win that game. Then he settled down and kind of took control, and Helfrich stayed hot, hitting a home run in the second and another one in the eighth. But I think my favorite thing about that game was the back-to-back at-bats with Maxwell, where he saw 12 pitches. He swung at 11 of them, then singled up the middle. Then right after him, you got Keo Loy coming up. He saw 11 pitches, then singled up the middle. I mean, that's just got to take your all the wind out of your sails as a pitcher.
It really can.
Then Coyle comes in the eighth. He got himself in trouble, but then he got two pop-ups to end the inning, and then you finish the game with Iredale's grand slam to break it open in the eighth. It was a good one. And so my sixth up is going to go out to Cole Stewart, Stu Hogg. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter,
he does
you really
great work.
need to.
Oh yeah,
he really does. But he had a little stat that I thought was cool. The Hogs have won 9 games this year by 10 runs or more. It's most of any Hog team in the Dave Van Horn era. The 1922 and the 24 teams are all tied with 8. But the deal is, it's March. So we already have that record in March, and so who knows how we're going to end up. But
I bet you we end up pretty good. I feel pretty good
I
about
think
this
so.
team. It's 3 up, 3 down, or in Dr. Liggett's case, 6 up. It's presented by River Valley Smile Center. Matt's been a patient of Dr. Liggett for a long time. You can be too.
Absolutely. They'll get you in there, get in there and see him. Friendly staff, great service.
Doc, the kid bought a lot of cotton candy on Friday, too. He may need a little bit of... he brushed his teeth. I made sure of that. He brushed it twice. At River Valley Smile Center, they can help you out with just about anything you need. Sedation, comprehensive dental facility. They'll offer children's dentistry, braces, dentures, gum treatment, dental implants, much more. Not just Dr. Liggett, Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe as well. They'll take care of all your dental needs. Doc, take us home.
Well, me and Dr. Johnson are out of town for spring break this week, but Dr. Cabe will be there to help you out. So if you need anything, please stop by and see us, River Valley Smile Center. When you come in, your family.
Their number is 479-646-0406. They're online as well, rivervalleysmiles.com. Now stay with Halftime. Much more after the break.
Who's the big winner here tonight at the casino? Huh? Mikey, that's who. Mikey's the big winner.
This is Halftime.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
This is halftime.
Hey, it's James Teague with the Teague Law Firm. I'm excited to be back on Halftime with Phil and Matt Fridays at 12:15.
What's the equivalent like that for a pitcher to be on a heater?
When you're on a heater as a pitcher, it means that you just rear back and throw it, and it happens to go where you want it to go. It's kind of like, you just, instead of hoping for the best, you can just be really aggressive. You can throw it hard. You can look into it. It just kind of works out.
Come check out our new office at 4201 West New Hope Road in Rogers. The Teague Law Firm. If we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
For years, Mosquito Joe has been the go-to service for mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas all across Arkansas. Making outside fun again for Arkansans is our passion. But over the past few years, there's been an increasing problem outside.
Fire ants.
Bingo. They're everywhere now. And if you've ever gotten to a pile of them, and I'm sure you have, you immediately know.
Outside is not fun.
Yep. That's why Mosquito Joe is now providing fire ant control. Just one more way Mosquito Joe makes outside fun again.
Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
At 810 Billiards and Bowling, we've got everything you need for a good time. Drink up, chow down, rack 'em up, and knock 'em down. In other words, be social. Join us for happy hour every day from 3 to 7. Catch the big game on our giant screens and check out the newly expanded arcade and mini golf. Oh, and don't forget to try the new double-decker burger. It's a game changer. Let the fun begin at 810 Billiards and Bowling, 5609 Rogers Avenue, Suite F in Fort Smith. See you there.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Wave Rural Connect is excited to introduce our new 300 megabit internet service. Perfect for streaming, remote work, and homework for just $64.95 a month. Get no worries, cyber-safe managed Wi-Fi for a total of $71.95. Order today at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. We're adding new services and expanding our areas for you. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV. With hands-free driving assistance, go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $800 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Matt, I was a little disappointed Saturday when I saw Patino walks over to shake hands with Calipari while Billy Richmond's at the foul line. And I wanted to watch the handshake, but, I mean, it's a rule of sports broadcasting. You can't not have action on camera. And the free throw, they have to show it. I mean, they can't just show the coaches talking and shaking hands at that moment, even though that's probably what most of you wanted to watch. I really would have liked to be in on that conversation. I heard Ty this morning, and he was there, obviously. He said that there was a lot of back and forth between the two of them during the game as they were coaching their teams. But I'll bet it was nothing but I don't know if I'd say friendly, but a brief congratulations and then a walk-off. But I didn't hear Patino screaming to the next team that was walking on the court, like maybe Baylor, like your boy Dan Hurley, saying, I hope you don't get F like the refs F.
Thunder Dan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mutual respect those two guys have as far as Patino and Calipari, but they're not. I don't think they're on each other's Christmas list.
They did that. That was the only thing they said that would let you know that they don't like each other. It's like, well, we're not on each other's Christmas. We don't send each other Christmas cards. Be like, all right, well, I guess maybe Cal sends Buzz Williams a Christmas card and Patino sends one to Boeheim.
They were pretty close. I think Coach Cal's won 9 of the last 11, but it was pretty close as far as their head-to-head matchup. I don't think like anybody has. I think they were pretty even.
You know, they showed that little interview that Nance did with him before the Final Four when they played each other when Cal was at UMass and Patino's at Kentucky. And they looked like they were kind of buddy-buddy then. You know, they were laughing with each other. You know, Cal's kind of, touching his shoulder and all of that. Maybe it was the two guys being at Kentucky and, then being rivals against each other at Louisville. That may have done it. But it's just I would have liked to watch that handshake a lot more. That would have been the handshake of the tournament. But I think Patino also knew at that point, this game's over. I'm just going to go shake hands. Nobody's going to watch it.
Who was the guy that they set down? What have you checked into that? He didn't play like their best player the last 2 minutes because he wouldn't play defense.
R.J. Lewis?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the crazy thing. It's like
he's their best player, and he got. I mean, it's always a teaching moment. These coaches. There's certain ways that things get done, and we talk about Coach Cal. You're not going to play you're not going to get on the floor if you're not going to play defense for Coach Calipari. I mean, that's just how it is. If you can't play defense and you don't know your assignment, then they'll get somebody else who can. And I think that's what Patino was kind of, it's the biggest stage, and I know you're our best player, but there's a way you go about it.
You had RJ on the bench, for a pretty long stretch at the end. Was that just because he just wasn't making them, or was there something more to it?
Played 30 minutes. It's a long time.
So he was tired?
No, played 30 minutes, and I went with other people. You already know the answers, Roger. You're asking leading questions. You already know it. So don't ask leading questions. You already know why he didn't play.
He saw that he saw that 8-mile stare. He saw somebody that wasn't ready to compete anymore. That's what that was about. The Hogs took Lewis out of his game, just like they took Hunter Dickinson out of his game. It's going to be tougher to do the same to JT Toppin.
That's I like it though. It's a group effort with this defense. They're helping each other. It's a different guy each game. If it's coming over, Carter Knox getting a couple blocks, but yes, Toppin is he's a real deal, and Tech is real top heavy. Like they're going to have 2 or 3 guys that are going to shoot all their shots. They're not going to be. They're nothing. It's every game is going to be its own story. I mean, it's a totally different team. I think Texas Tech is a better team than St. John.
Quick break. We'll be back. Wrap up the second hour of halftime after this.
Yo, Adrian.
Christian.
This is halftime.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The Dandy White Perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline. The game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Le dije, vamos a hacer maldades. Vuelvo yo te traje. Pago allá el mahones si no baila pa' que sale. De mi aquí están mis anormales. Tú mueves ese nalga. Esto es pa' la nena nueva, pa' los nenes, pa' la
It's back, the Ultimate Challenge at Lewis Automotive, and it's bigger than ever. We're on a mission to sell 555 vehicles in the month of March, no matter what it takes. We've got more than 1,000 vehicles to choose from, more than $2 million in discounts, and we're not holding anything back. All month long, get up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% financing on select models.
Payments start at $199 a month.
Find the ultimate selection, the ultimate discounts, the ultimate financing, and the ultimate amount for your trade.
Only at the Lewis Automotive Group's Ultimate Challenge.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The Dandy White Perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
We'll go right to the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, wrapping up our second hour of halftime. Greg in Farmington. What's up, Greg? How are you?
Oh, man, you talk about a fantastic weekend. I mean, if you're a Hog fan, you're strutting into work like Ric Flair on a Monday morning. Let me tell you, it's what it's all about. Hey, I heard you mentioning Bill Mercer. I grew up watching Bill Mercer. Saturday nights, KXTX, 10 o'clock. World Class Championship Wrestling. You had Bill Mercer and Mark Lawrence. I mean, two of the best announcers. Of course, then they're right up there with Gordon Soley, Bob Cottle out of Florida. So, I grew up getting to hear some of the best announcers and interviewers when it came to pro wrestling. So, dotted out to Bill Mercer and his family. Basketball, I mean, hey, who could be happier? I think taking the time off kind of helped out some games, kind of made you open your eyes, realize you didn't have to carry the team on your shoulders. You had other teammates to work with. So I think that's what's really helping the Hogs right now. Baseball, man, our lineup is getting to where you don't know where we're going to come from. And if they get that pitching figured out, Hogs are going to be dangerous. So that's my Monday morning. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to hit on, so I think I got everything. So all I can say is, Jonesy, we got to get to the golf course, buddy. So I'm out of here.
Thanks, Greg. 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. It's getting to be that kind of weather now, Matt. You may catch the golfing bug at some point soon.
I played the other day. I'm kind of waiting until I'm done with this. Working these double shifts as far as the basketball season, and kind of it throws off when I 9:30, 10 o'clock. Phil, I'm laying. I lay down for bed.
You're gonna need a nap on Thursday.
We're
all gonna
Ty,
need one.
Ty, big time. He's big time. They don't need my services on Thursday, so I'll be ready for Saturday if we win it. But I think him and Zach are going to be able to handle it.
So Thursday will be interesting for me because I'm taking the kids to Nashville. It's spring break, so I got both my son and my daughter this weekend in Nashville, and we got tickets to watch the Predators and the St. Louis Blues Thursday night. Kids have never been to an NHL game. That's why I'm really happy that the Sweet 16 game is late. We can go to the NHL game and still make it back to watch basketball on the DVR. So I may need a little help on Friday morning too, just like everybody else in the whole state of Arkansas. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. And lots to get to here on halftime in the final hour. We'll also be talking with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Spring practice is happening, not like most people are talking about it, but we'll get into that as well, maybe a little bit. It's halftime. We're right back.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
It's that crazy time of year again, and I'm not talking about Cinderella teams and busted brackets. I'm talking about your ex making your spring break plans with your kids a mess again. Do you feel double-teamed by your ex in your court order? Call me, Jackie Mock, from Off the Bench, and let's see if we can modify that order so your time with your kids can be a slam dunk. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
You got 3 lemons.
What my baby wants, my baby gets. You know that.
Oh, I wanted 12. Baby wanted 12.
Equipment down, got a leak, lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
Spring has arrived,
bringing warmer days, road trips, and unpredictable spring showers. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we'll make sure your vehicle is ready for all your spring adventures. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your ride for whatever the season brings. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart, we keep America rolling.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mostly sunny sky today. A high this afternoon will be in the low to mid 70s. Later on tonight, looking at a clear to partly cloudy sky. Overnight lows will drop down low 50s. Tomorrow, sunny skies, a high in the mid 70s north, low 80s south. And then Wednesday, we could see a slight chance of a shower south, a high near 75. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. Listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'd like to take an opportunity. Woo! To blow the whistle.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that's respected. If I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What name for one Razorback?
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Halftime continues on what is a glorious Monday to be a Razorback fan, and man, it's going to feel like that all week long up until tip-off of Thursday night in San Francisco with Arkansas taking on Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. Phil Elson here with Matt Jones. Kristen Johnston is our producer. Halftime for another hour. We'll be talking Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South coming up. And this is Sweet 16, Matt Jones. We'll have 3 games that are SEC versus Big Ten, Auburn versus Michigan, Ole Miss, Michigan State, Maryland versus Florida. There'll be a couple of SEC Big 12 games. Hogs and Texas Tech are one of them. Alabama, BYU the other. And then there's an SEC versus SEC matchup with Kentucky and Tennessee. You get to face each other a third time. And Kentucky goes for the sweep in this one. I was looking back to Kansas's national championship in 1988 when they had Danny Manning, and they faced the same thing, although that was in the championship game against Oklahoma. They had lost to OU twice in the regular season, but beat them in the championship game. So it's another thing. It's like, well, you know, the Kentucky fans would think, well, you know, we've had Tennessee's number this year. We beat you 2 in a row. Well, nobody will remember that too much if Tennessee advances to the Elite Eight.
Man, I'm telling you, that Ole Miss Michigan State matchup, I start looking Auburn, Michigan. I mean, those are just going to be some battles. Duke, Arizona sneaky. Arizona's sneaky on that Duke team. That'd be their first real test, I think. And then BYU has the biggest bag in the country, they say. They're going to spend the most money. They got the #1 recruit in the country that's already committed to them for next year. In Alabama, look a little shaky at times. So, you know, these are going to be, man, some dog fights. Houston, Purdue, I mean, that who knows how is Purdue overachieving this year? Kind of some of the pressures off of them. They hadn't played anybody. You know, they played a 13 seed and a 12 seed. So they've kind of had a good break right there. And then, like you said, Kentucky, Tennessee. I think I'm going Tennessee. I don't know what's happened in the regular season, but when I look at these two teams, I'm going to go Tennessee Volunteers over the Kentucky Wildcats.
So think of how you laid it out there, and you just gave reasons for why 5 or 6 of these games are really exciting matchups. and there's the other narrative that I hear pushed that the tournament hasn't been very entertaining and not enough upsets, no real Cinderella right now, no mid-major, and that's supposed to, mean that the tournament isn't as fun as it usually is. Now, look, Redmond has many buzzer beaters as usual. There have been some upsets. It's just you don't have any school names that nobody's really, unfamiliar with. Gonzaga, they get to the Sweet 16, and it's like, look, you expect that on an annual basis after however many years. I think this is the reason to be excited about this tournament. And it's not a matter of, the committee gets things wrong or right based on how teams do in the tournament. You just lay a field out there and see what happens. But 7 SEC teams getting in there out of 14 teams, Matt, you'd ask the question, what makes it a successful tournament for the SEC? And it already is. But now you're looking at a world where you very well could end up with the trifecta that the Big East had in 1985. And I don't remember how many teams they had make the tournament that year. It was a smaller league, but that was the only year where there were 3 schools from the same conference in the Final Four. You had Patrick Ewing's Georgetown, you had Chris Mullins' St. John's, who beat Arkansas in that tournament, and Villanova, led by Ed Pinckney, and that's the team that won the national championship. Memphis was the other team in that Final Four. So, you're looking at all these matchups here. You're looking at how the bracket shakes out. You very well could end up with SEC against SEC in the South. You could end up with the same thing in the West if Arkansas and Florida win in the Sweet 16. You're going to have at least one SEC team in the Elite Eight out of the Midwest. And then over in the East, you get Alabama, which was in the Final Four last year, and they've been in the Sweet 16 4 out of the last 5. But, of course, Duke's in there. So, can you dream of a world where there are 4 SEC teams in the Final Four? I routinely, annual basis, see 4 baseball teams from this league in the College World Series out of 8. You very well may end up seeing more than that in the Elite 8 in this tournament.
7 of the 8 top seeds are still left in here. So out of the 8 top seeds, 7 of them, the committee, I think the committee got it right. Now, do we take on the role as a 2 seed? Are we in our white uniforms when we head to San Fran?
I don't know how that works.
Beat the 2 seed?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. That's or if it's just because Texas Tech is the better seed, do they get to wear their uniform, be the home team? I don't know how that works. But as far as I know, Matt, take the 10 next to Arkansas, ball it up, throw it in the trash.
Hey, once you get to the tournament, it's 0-0, and that's the whole point, is to get in, and then it's advance and survive, and you got to get a little lucky, matchups. Somebody doesn't have their best game, and that's true. Phil, Hunter Dickinson didn't have his best game. Louise didn't have his best game for St. John's. But I think Arkansas's defense is a big part of that, is giving these guys fits, making them uncomfortable, making them kind of second guess, a little hesitation. And they never really, St. John's never really looked uncomfortable. When they were firing up threes at the end of the game, you're like, there's no way. Like you didn't even feel like they were going to make one of those.
Guys don't struggle in a vacuum. For every batter that's in a slump, there are pitchers that read the scouting report and pitch to that scouting report and throw good pitches. For every basketball player that's in a slump, there's guys, there's teams, there's coaches who scout them and D them up. The 8 Mile stare is not something that happens in a vacuum. That happens because the opponent frustrated you, and you don't know what to do about it. Let's go to Jason in Frankfurt, who's on our Lewis Automotive Hotline. What's up, Jason? Happy Sweet 16. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Good to talk to you guys. Just on a note, you were briefly talking about Kentucky, Tennessee, and I watched part of the Kentucky-Tennessee basketball game that was held at Rupp this year. And at the end, there was a man holding up a sign that said Rocky Top has never been played at the Final Four. And they were just sort of rubbing in the wins over Tennessee that they have. They didn't talk about football, but they rubbed in the wins in basketball. And I thought, man, this it's going to be poetic. And here it is. It's going to be fascinating to watch. So y'all were talking about that. The reason that I called was just how cathartic Thursday and Saturday were for me as a fan. In 2002, when Frank Broyles fired Nolan Richardson, I was really hoping Bill Self, who was at Illinois at the time, but had been at Tulsa and I think Oral Roberts before that. I was really hoping that he would get the job. I really liked him. He had a good season. And then Broyles hired Stan Heath. So, and then very next year, Self gets hired at Kansas. And then 5 years later, I think it was 5 or 6 seasons later, he won the national championship. And so the whole time I was just like so jealous. And so I was like, oh, they just Broyles made a bad choice in all of that. And just, I don't know that I ever forgave him for doing that to that basketball program. And so finally seeing them win with Self on the sideline was just so, it felt good. I was like, okay, I can bury that. But then they played St. John's, and then Rick Pitino and the history that he has with Arkansas, 94, 93, 94, 95, and then even 96 when he would go head-to-head with Nolan. They would split games. It would be 50-50. One would win the regular season, and then one would win the tournament, and then the national championship. And so that seeing them win and beat Pitino, again, another level of catharsis, another all that angst, all that just sort of disgust with the program and where they had, fallen short. It was put behind me. So it's washed over me. I'm grateful. But yeah, that's what Thursday and Saturday meant for me. It was more about the matchups, individual. And I'm grateful for the Sweet 16. If it ends on Thursday night, I'll still be grateful for those two games and for the ride this team's taking us on. So I hope you guys are doing well. Baseball team looks great. Go Hogs.
Jason, great to hear from you. Appreciate the call as he's out there in enemy territory in Frankfort, Kentucky. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline, and that's where you can send your calls and your texts. Hey, this is the last week of the spring sale that they have going on right now at Butler Furniture. Truckloads of new styles arriving right now. Every item in Butler's huge inventory is on sale. Everything. They've been busy reducing prices. Every item for every room in your home. Get over there today because you can shop it all. Special spring savings at Butler Furniture in Mountain Home and a special spring credit offer. You'll get 18 months, no interest financing, and no money down. It's an incredible savings event that ends this Saturday. So you can shop the final week of the spring sale today at Butler Furniture, Highway 5 North. It's right past Hospital Drive in Mountain Home. It's always better at Butler's. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Night Down South, joining halftime after this.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life. ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Live on ESPN 95.3, it's Colton Little. I'm just across the border today in Sallisaw, Oklahoma, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 to be exact, here at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford for the Markdown Madness sale happening right now. Hey, it's March, so you know they've got madness all around. And here at Harry Robinson, they've got up to $13,000 off of select F-150s, which is one of the best-selling trucks in America for over 45 years. You can take a test drive right now, and then you can come and shoot on the Harry Robinson Hoop for up to $500 cash in your pocket. It's simple. It's free. You just come up, take a test drive, and then take your shot for up to $500 cash. So, looking for a great deal and the best customer service in the business, you won't find that anywhere else but Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw. Come see us.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Fishing season is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear for you. The largest selection of rods, reels, and baits by Shimano, Daiwa, Lew's, 6 Sense, ACC, Todd Huckabee, St. Croix, G. Loomis, Bobby Garland, Spro, X-Zone, and many more. Fishing clothing, footwear, and rain gear by AFCO, Brundens, Extra Tough, and Under Armour, Garmin Electronics, and much, much more. Jelco Outdoors, your fishing partner in the River Valley. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Wave Rural Connect is excited to introduce our new 300 megabit internet service. Perfect for streaming, remote work, and homework for just $64.95 a month. Get no worries, cyber safe managed Wi-Fi for a total of $71.95. Order today at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. We're adding new services and expanding our areas for you. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Happy New Year from Sharp Equipment. Come on over to the new Sharp Equipment today and explore what all Sharp has to offer. From our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer to customized hydraulic and industrial hoses, equipment repairs, and as a Cinnabogan authorized service provider, we're able to offer even more. Stop in to check out the new location at 5608 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-649-0500 to see how at Sharp Equipment we help you move more than just the world. We help you move forward. Sharp Equipment, your Wacker Newson dealer.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Going to our Lewis Automotive Group hotline, Connor O'Gara with us, senior editor and national columnist. Saturday Down South, doing a lot of basketball these days. Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, it's good to. I feel like we've had a lot of negative Mondays over the course of the last 2-3 years, and this has to be. I mean, maybe with the exception of baseball for you, but in terms of football or basketball Mondays that you have had, this has to be up there among the top 2 or 3 that you've had in the last few years.
Absolutely, yeah. And look, this is the 4th time in the last 5 years that we're doing this. It's just. This was, like Matt said to start the show, can you imagine putting yourself in today's shoes 60 days ago because the season has been completely different over these last 60 days. And what a 60 days it's been. And right now, I'm going to tell you what, Connor, you take that 10 next to Arkansas's name and throw it out the door. That's not a 10 seed right now. I know they're an underdog, but I think they're a problem.
I do too. I mean, this is such a top-heavy field, and Arkansas is the only team that can say, hey, we beat a team that's got a top 2 seed. And that right now is everything going into what I think is an extremely difficult regional that obviously, like, look, if Arkansas emerges from this and somehow gets to the Final Four, everybody's going to be saying, like, what in the world is this team capable of? Because this is not the type of run that you would forecast for, you know, a potential Cinderella. That's what Arkansas has become in a field that only has power conference teams remaining. And obviously the fact they're the only double-digit seed left in the field kind of speaks to that. But you're right. Throw out that seed. And you almost also have to throw out the history that you just brought up. And look, I'm one that thinks that needs to be appreciated. Like, we're both Indiana guys. And I think, and I tweeted this out the other day, I mean, think about the fact that Arkansas now has as many Sweet 16 trips in the 2020s as Indiana basketball has in the last 30 years. And that is considered a blue blood. And it kills me to say that as an Indiana grad, but it's true. And you almost have to throw that out as well because of how new this team is. But, yeah, Arkansas has just become this wild card, and it's pretty impossible to ignore.
Connor, 7 of the 8 top seeds are left in here. All the number ones are still left in here. Who should be on upset alert? You know, Houston, Purdue, Florida, Maryland. You get Duke in a hot Arizona team right now. Auburn kind of limps in, and Michigan's a weird matchup for them. Is there a number 1 seed that you think could be on upset alert this weekend?
Yeah, I think Auburn. I think Auburn loses to Michigan. And I had that in my original bracket. I'm actually doing a repicking of the rest of the NCAA tournament field right now for a story that's going to run tomorrow on SBS. And I'm sticking with that, despite the fact that I think Auburn could have had that turnaround moment that it needed in the middle of the second half against Creighton when Chad Baker-Mazara went down, and they respond in a way that Auburn did throughout the regular season. But, of course, everybody was talking about the 3 losses in their final 4 games entering the NCAA tournament. I think against Michigan, a team that can actually match the size that Auburn has, that's going to be an issue. And I can envision a scenario in which Auburn is taking bad outside shots because their inside guys can't necessarily carve out that space they're used to being able to get. And all of a sudden it turns into, wow, Auburn can't make a shot, and they're enduring a really bad offensive stretch. In Michigan, they just play in these cardiac games. I mean, they play in close game after close game. And I trust them and their ability to close out a game probably more than Auburn's right now. So I think we could be looking at a world in which the top overall seed in this tournament is out in the Sweet 16, much like what we saw 2 years ago when Alabama lost to San Diego State.
The SEC matchup is really intriguing. Kentucky-Tennessee. Kentucky will try to go for a 3-game sweep after beating them twice. And, you know, they beat them without Jackson Robinson. They beat him with Jackson Robinson. They beat him with Lamont. They beat him with Lamont Butler. They beat him without Lamont Butler, and they keep continuing to win. How do you see round 3 going? I always hear it's tough to beat a team 3 times, but then you'll see evidence that it does happen.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee, and I think timing is really important. I do, as much as I think Kentucky deserves credit for being able to get through the opening weekend, something they had not done in the 2020s. Talk about Arkansas, all the years now that they've been able to do that 4 times in the 2020s. Kentucky hadn't done that since 2019, and in year 1 of the Mark Pope era, that is no small feat. And to do so with a team that had real legitimate depth questions coming into the NCAA tournament, that's pretty amazing. Now, I think your rotation can be tested in a different sort of way against a team like Tennessee, and that's more so the issue that I would be worried with. I really think that Chaz Lanier, the level that he has been playing at, to me, I don't know who is going to be that stopper. As great as Lamont Butler is as an on-ball defender, I don't know that he's stopping someone with Lanier's size, and I think that more so could be the issue because Tennessee is going to endure that rough offensive stretch. Did it against UCLA too. It just happened in the first half and not, middle of the second half when it feels like the entire season is dependent on that. So I think Tennessee gets them this time, and I will, I guess, default to the old adage of the toughest thing to do in sports is beat a team 3 times.
Before the tournament, I know Auburn's the number 1 overall seed, but pretty much most people had Florida as the champ, as number 1. Who do you have now that there's 16 teams left? Who's the favorite to cut down the nets?
I had Florida come in. I'm sticking with Florida. And I think that enduring what they endured against UConn could be monumental. I won't go as far as to say it's a true passing of the torch moment. I think if those things are going to happen, they need to kind of happen in a Final Four type setting. But you could close your eyes and, convince yourself that was the Final Four. I mean, it did feel like such a high-level matchup. And the way that Florida fell behind in that game and knowing, hey, it's Dan Hurley, it's the best coach in the sport, it's the 2-time defending national champs. Like, they're doing a lot of things well, and Florida's guards just looked all out of sorts. And then what Florida's been doing throughout this run happened. They didn't flinch. And you see Walter Clayton Jr. step up and make these big-time shots. You see the depth that they have in their backcourt that just makes you think, man, who is going to be able to outlast these guys for 40 minutes? And that's what I would still come back to, even though I think it's going to be difficult against that Maryland Crab Five, a team that could be playing with house money after the way that they won that game against Colorado State on the buzzer beater. But I'm still going to take Florida. I think Florida is just peaking at the exact right time. I think they're going to find a way to get through that regional and ultimately win a national championship.
Yeah, some folks might, think that the tournament isn't that much fun because there's no mid-major or school that nobody's heard about there. And look, if Gonzaga would have made it into the Sweet 16, they're not a mid-major. They're a thing unto themselves. But they're not there. And so it's all Power 4. I think a lot of that has to do with realignment, but the portal is another reason why. But I don't view this as like some death of college basketball. I also view it as a potential one-off thing because this is a sport that can be really difficult to predict when it comes to the tournament, much more so than football when we get to January and you would see, like a group of 5 team coming up and playing in the college football playoff. Do you view this as a one-off, or do you think this is something that we'll see more in the future as we keep playing the tournament, even if it expands?
I think it's more of a one-off, and I don't think it's necessarily the death of the mid-major in college basketball. I mean, 2 years ago, I was here in Orlando for San Diego State in the start of their run, and I remember watching that team in person and thinking, oh my God, like that's a team of grown men. They do not look like a mid-major type team. Now, what happens to a team like San Diego State? Ultimately, that roster gets kind of picked apart, and you look up, and a year or two from now, you see the pieces of that team all over the country. It's the same with FAU a couple of years ago, and part of that is because obviously their head coach, Dusty May, is now at Michigan, and he takes some pieces with him. But this is the way that it works now for mid-majors. You get 1 year. You get that 1 year window. There's no more Butler, Brad Stevens, 2010 type, 2011 type 2-year run. Your roster is going to get picked apart. And those guys that are able to break through, if you are able to do that, they're ending up on power conference teams the next year. And that's what's changed so much about this sport is that you could just sit there and pluck these guys and know that you're going to be able to offer the highest bidder. I mean, what did Rick Pitino say about Walter Clayton Jr.? He's like, yeah, I think we offered him like $10,000 to stay at Iona, and Florida came calling. That was all that they could do. I mean, this is the world that we live in now, and it's going to hurt mid-majors, but at the same time, they still have a window. Basketball is too fickle of a sport, and this is too fickle of a tournament to say that that's dead.
Connor, Arkansas's matchup with Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech will have the best player on the floor, and as far as the best pro prospect in J.D. Toppin, he's a walking double-double. How do you see this matchup going? What's a key? What would Arkansas need to do if they want to survive and advance past Texas Tech?
Yeah, the tricky thing is I think Texas Tech is more versatile than what you would probably think based on J.T. Toppin and the fact that he's going to be at the top of the scouting report. But they've had 4 different leading scorers in the last 4 games, and they've just found different ways to be able to control teams. And I was, more of a Texas Tech believer than not. And I do think that right now the difficult thing for Arkansas is going to be finding what does it look like if they run into a team that can actually make shots. let's be honest. Arkansas's length definitely had something to do with the frustration that St. John's felt in that matchup. But I do think that Texas Tech is a little bit more prepared for that, and they've had to work against that more so in the Big 12 schedule that they've had to face than St. John's. So I do think that there is a possibility that you could look up and be like, hey, J.T. Toppin's only got like 10 points, and there's 3 minutes left in this game. But because of Texas Tech's versatility, I think that's going to be too much for a thin Arkansas team. But again, who knows? They have been, if there is a giant killer in this tournament so far, Arkansas deserves to have that title, and they could go into this regional with absolute house money to play with, and that could be a death sentence for a team like Texas Tech.
I've taken my eye off football a little bit. I got baseball games to call. We're knee deep in the Final Four. Is there anything worth hitting on for college football at the end here?
Spring football games are still going to happen.
Okay.
They're still going to happen in certain places. We will probably see some of them diminish. If Colorado and Syracuse end up playing a spring scrimmage,
that's crazy.
I mean, that would be it would feel unprecedented. I would be absolutely here for it, and I would do all the overreacting necessary. But I would say let's not hold our breath on that. That doesn't feel as imminent.
Okay. Connor, appreciate you, man. We'll do it in 2 weeks, okay?
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
Always appreciate his time. It's Connor O'Gara. He is the national senior columnist from Saturday Down South. You can get with us. Our Lewis Automotive Group hotline open for your calls and texts right now at 877-377-6963. Got to remind you about your homestead tax credit. Can save you up to $500 on property taxes. All you got to do is apply. Just call your local county assessor for information. In Sebastian County, you'll call Zach Johnson, 479-784-1516. You can also go to sebastiancountyar.gov. Got to get the application in before the end of May for your 2024 property taxes. This will apply up to your home and up to 1 acre of land. If you own your home and it's your primary residence, you'll qualify for the homestead tax credit up to $500 on your property taxes. Again, the number in Sebastian County, 479-784-1516, sebastiancountyar.gov or countyservice.net. And we're in the home stretch. Halftime back in a moment.
You're killing me, Smalls.
This is halftime.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers, just behind Newt's. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV. With brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman, Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago, and on-site financing available. There will be a variety of vendors and bounce house for the kids and so much more. So make plans now to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party, April 12th and 13th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer-dropping overtime, forcing playoffs on the line golf with 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams: Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Yo, don't be so cool, dude.
This is halftime.
ESPN 95.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline. The game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
Le dije, vamos a hacer maldades. Vuelve yo te traje. Pago ya el mahones si no baila pa' que sale. Aquí están mis anormales. Qué cabrón, tú mueves ese nalga. Esto es pa' la nena, no, pa' los nenes, pa' la
It's back, the Ultimate Challenge at Lewis Automotive, and it's bigger than ever. We're on a mission to sell 555 vehicles in the month of March, no matter what it takes. We've got more than 1,000 vehicles to choose from, more than $2 million in discounts, and we're not holding anything back. All month long, get up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% financing on select models.
Payments start at $199 a month.
Find the ultimate selection, the ultimate discounts, the ultimate financing, and the ultimate amount for your trade. Only at the Lewis Automotive Group's Ultimate Challenge.
Thanks for watching.
playing with this bow and down road. Gonna keep my heart away, leave it to the other girls to play. For I've been a temptress too long.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Great Monday. A lot of fun today. Nothing but positivity. That doesn't happen too often on this show or any others. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Good afternoon, Logan. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you.
I was just calling to see who are some of y'all's favorites. Like every year, you know, it's not your key players. Like Wagner's amazing, but I got my favorites. Last year it was those Mitchell twins. They just had attitude and grit. And this year I really love Billy Richmond III, Big Bill.
He's fun to watch. I really like the energy. I think it's kind of tough to pick somebody, truthfully, Logan. It's like if you're an opposing coach, you're an opposing player, you have to pay attention to absolutely everything they're telling you about everybody that's going to play for Arkansas, because any one of them can be a problem for them. So I don't know who'd you pick on this team, Matt? Who, if you had a favorite?
The thing is, you're just proud of some of the. It's almost you have to dissect this season into like thirds or quarters, because what Nine's done his last little bit, I didn't see that coming. You know, you saw the first little bit of the SEC games. You know, you go 0-5. I didn't see him having that type of a turnaround. Carter Knox, without a question, would be one of my favorites. The freshman. Watching him grow up. I think Big Z had a moment in time where it was like, man, he was kind of doing his thing, and I know you brought this up a couple times too. This is really a complete basketball team as far as you don't know which one of the guys or which one of these two guys are really going to have the best game. Each game, it's somebody different, it seems like.
Now imagine Adu coming back. He's practicing. That's the next question. We wondered what would Boogie look like. You know what? Boogie looks okay. Doesn't have the shot yet, but he's defending well. And
that steal Boogie made.
Oh my gosh!
So like, what was there 2 minutes ago? They just called a timeout. They go and call. They're dissecting one of their best plays. That's what they're doing. They're drawing up a play that they want to. Not even one pass, and he steals it. I mean, that was just what a great individual play by Boogie.
Not only did Boogie not mess up the chemistry or mess up anything, he added to the team. He added to and he's doing it without scoring very much either. Ball handling, beating the press. St. John's press didn't really bother the Hawks at all, and they used it a little bit in the in the second half. I think if Adu is available, if he can play, you're going to play him. That's your best player. That he is the best player on this team and was from the start of the season to the day he went down with whatever this injury was. So if he's okay and he's practicing, of course he plays. He doesn't start. But if I thought when Boogie came back, it'd be what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes? He's playing 22 minutes. If Adu comes back, and I know it's a different thing because a thumb injury is different from either a back or a knee or a leg injury when you get to worry about your legs. But I would love Adu back on here. And then you're going to talk about 9 players, and who knows if Big Z ever sees the floor again. Then you got the roster you started the season with.
You know, I think Coach Zimmerman had said a couple things over the air as far as the frustration, the look on St. John's face. Phil, I've never seen a team in this tournament that had a 2 seed, but you think they're a top 8 team in this tournament, and Arkansas just took their spirit early, and the Yannis never got it back. I mean, they never really felt comfortable. We controlled the temp. I mean, for 35 of the 40 minutes, Arkansas was in control of that game. It was fun to watch.
How good do you think that felt for Boogie, beating St. John's? I mean, he's from the Bronx. That's New York's team. It was like the whole city was there, right? I'm going to guarantee you, Boogie's gone to St. John's Red Storm basketball games at some point in his life. That to him, we never brought this up. He's a New York kid through and through. He is a Bronx kid. He just had a hand in beating Spike Lee's team, in beating who was it that was sitting in front of him? Was that the guy from The Shield? I mean, that was New York's team that a New York kid had a hand in taking down. And, yeah, Patino's from there, too. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's a great win for the state of Arkansas. It's a great win for everybody that's listening. It's a great win for the program. But if I were to think of somebody where that win over that team really meant something to, and I know for a lot, they felt like this was for Coach Anderson, and I love that aspect of it. But I love what that must have felt like for Boogie Fland. To play against St. John's, to beat St. John's, kind of in the shadow of New York City with what felt like, and I wasn't there. I mean, the Hogs fans put up a good showing. That was a St. John's crowd. And for him to play as well as he did and just have a hand in winning that game, that just had to feel so good for him. It feels good for everybody. But that's a different sort of a feeling. To beat kind of your hometown team with a bunch of people that, I'm going to guarantee, you think Spike Lee has seen Boogie Fland play basketball? He loves basketball. I mean, you've seen him play at some point. I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I'd have to give me a pair of those bifocals. He did have on some sharp glasses. Saw your boy Bill Murray at the Gonzaga game. That was pretty cool too, kind of seeing some of the cameos. I think your boy Jaden Daniels and his mom were there was something going on. I think the girl that plays for USC, I think she's the best player in the country right now. I think maybe they're hanging out, so that was kind of cool.
And Kelsey Music was, speaking of women's basketball, Kelsey Music was introduced, I think the press conference was a little less than 2 hours ago. New head coach for Arkansas women's basketball. I think it's a good hire. This is someone that's put in a lot of time in the Great American Conference, coaching Southwestern Oklahoma State, and was a national runner-up there. She had 7 years in the Division II tournament. Built a nice program at Oral Roberts that had kind of fallen before she took over there, and built them into a team that finished in second place in that league, and then lost in the WBIT to Missouri State. But she looks like somebody who is a program builder. It would have been interesting, I'm sure, for Oral Roberts fans to see what the fourth year there would have looked like. But it's going to be a first year at Arkansas instead. I wasn't able to be at the press conference, obviously. We're doing this show instead. But I saw a quote from Hunter Yurachek that basically said, if you were to look between the lines of the quote, I mean, it sounds like he talked to a lot of people. Hunter holds these things really close to the vest. The only info that had ever come out had come from the Democrat Gazette that Molly Miller wasn't the leading candidate. And it looks like she's signing with Arizona State, the former Grand Canyon coach. He says that he spoke with a lot of coaches, some that were using the Razorback job as leverage to get more money from their job, some coaches that weren't interested in it, and he landed on a coach who wanted the job, was interested in it, wasn't using Arkansas for leverage. So it does sound like, even if that's just to see what it is that he says, it sounds like there may have been other offers that might have been turned down, either that or there were other candidates that Hunter's thinking about that they didn't say the right things and he's not offering them the job. But it's the closest Division I school. I'm not sure if Oral Roberts or TU is closer to Fayetteville because they're in the same town. One would be closer than the other. I think it's a good hire. It isn't the name that folks were looking for, and I know that there's some folks who are disappointed with it, but I think she deserves the chance and the time to build the program and see what happens this next year. So I'm excited to meet her. We'll have Kelsey Music on the show tomorrow, and we'll introduce her to us and to Razorback fans as well. Let's go to the phones before we end the segment here. Dawson's and Rogers on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Hi, Dawson. What's up?
Hey, man. Just wanted to call in real quick, touch back up on basketball. Just a quick question. Who do you guys see staying out of this team coming into the transfer portal opening this Monday? If you had to pick somebody, who do you think's going? That's all I had. I'll listen.
Who's going to go? That's an interesting question. But that would also, belie the idea, and maybe I'm going to be naive about it. Players are loyal to Cal. To me, for the freshmen that are here, for a guy like DJ, for somebody like Big Z, I think I'd be surprised if somebody does get into the portal. But maybe Matt, I'm not looking at it from a realistic aspect.
No, I think you are. I mean, you have success. How many of his guys? 6 of them. 3 played and then 3 incoming guys as far as from Kentucky. You're just going to have is Nelly and Jonas they're out of eligibility, right? So those 2 guys are gone. But I don't see, is 3, he is our best 2-way player, no question. But is he a first-round pick? I don't know. I don't know if he's ready yet to be a first. So you start kind of looking at that. Wagner, I think Wagner should come back another year. But you don't know what kind of advice they're getting. But, man, that would be, Billy Richmond, Carter Knox, and I think we're getting a 6'9" kid from Lithuania that had committed, that had been playing professional balls overseas. So it's starting to shape up. Now, I think this year, Phil, it's not like all of a sudden he got here and didn't even have a roster, didn't even have a schedule. I think this next year it'll go at a little better pace. I feel like he's going to get that he'll have the right team going forward.
Speaking of Kelsey Music in that sense, I do have a sense that maybe starting all over again with the roster, but we'll find that out in the next few weeks. Hey, Crabtree RV Center still has the Greater River Valley RV Show happening right now in Alma. Find personalized financing. The top-of-the-line parts and service department is there on site. They get everything you need at Crabtree RV. Looking to purchase an RV right now? Get over to Crabtree RV's Greater River Valley RV Show. Junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel, and at CrabtreeRV.com. We'll come back, wrap things up in just a moment.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
This is halftime.
ESPN 95.3 is live on location.
Back again here on ESPN 95.3. It's Colton Little. I'm here at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford
for that Markdown Madness sale happening right now. They've got awesome deals. They've got markdowns and discounts on vehicles all across the lot. New, pre-owned, it doesn't matter. There's a discount they can find for you and for your financial situation. And hey, even if you don't feel like purchasing a vehicle right now, these people are going to make sure that you at least get some money in your pocket to maybe think about it later on, because right now you can come in and take a test drive, and then you can shoot on Harry Robinson's hoop for up to $500 cash in your pocket. That's right, 500 big ones, 500 cash in your pocket. Simple and free. Just take the test drive and then take your shot for up to $500. Happening right now at Markdown Madness at Salisaw Ford. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Join us for the legendary adventure Mystery at the Forest on Saturday, April 26th. Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center invites you to share this magical evening of excitement, mystery, and fun. If you are a business or individual looking to sponsor a heartfelt organization or to buy tickets, please visit our Facebook page for more information or call our office at 479-452-2260.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Attention Arkansas, Oklahoma gas customers. Could you benefit from payment assistance on your natural gas bill? If you have a past due balance, help us here. Through the Summit Heating Assistance Fund, qualified customers can receive up to $200 toward their natural gas bill this heating season or until funds run out. Apply today. Visit aogc.com/SHAF or email shaf@unitedwayfortsmith.org for more information.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders, damaged windshields, and slick roads quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Wade Gilkey or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Take a phone call from Cecil before we send you over to Ruskin and Zach. Cecil's on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Happy Sweet 16, Cecil. How are you?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Man, hey, we could go all the way. We're playing really well, and I'm watching all the other teams play. I really didn't watch Duke that much at all because I really don't like the ACC basketball anymore. I used to like it, but it's kind of boring. SEC kind of just took all of that away, everything, every sport. But I was just the talent level, man. For like St. John's didn't impress me. They wasn't that great to me at all. I mean, if they was in the SEC, they wouldn't. They may finish 500. I'm doubting that. Really, I mean, they just in a conference that there's not a lot of talent in. And man, we was playing against the referees and everything, man. It was a lot of calls, wasn't called. I know I ain't the only one said that, but I just didn't really want to go through it. Running my blood pressure up. But man, it was a lot of calls. St. John's got all the calls and still lost the game. And our recruiting, the more games that we win, the farther we go. Hopefully we can get Nate. I'm really hoping we get him. I don't know if Boogie's gonna go pro. I hope he stays too. That'll give us a better chance of winning another Well, not winning another championship, winning a championship. But you just don't know. You just never know how far we're gonna go, man. Right now we're really locked in, and I could see us going all the way into the finals. That's just how I feel. I don't know. What did you feel about that feeling, Matt? And what do y'all feel about? It was a gentleman just was on. He was talking about the portal and stuff like that, and who's leaving, who's staying. We do have 2 slots. Nelly's leaving, and who else is leaving?
Adu. I think Adu and then Brazil would have to leave. So I think there'd probably be 3 slots that'll come open, Cecil. But I want to react to what you'd asked there about. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to dream and feel realistic about it that this team can play for a national championship. I think they're a Final Four contender. Matt, I see a team that takes the opponent's best player out of the game emotionally, not just physically. And I see that's a team that can win some basketball games against really good competition. They've already done it twice.
Gritty, grimy. I'm with you. Whoever our head defensive coach is, he has had a masterful game plan. And then the players, they have to go out there and execute it as well.
That's right. And then there's the players that have to execute it, and they're doing exactly that. It's a nice little relationship that the 2 sides there have going. Cecil, thanks very much. Man, this was a lot of fun today. Tomorrow, I don't know, there'll be still a lot of shine on it. We can dig a little bit more into the Arkansas-Texas Tech matchup. We'll also be visiting with Kelsey Music, the brand new Arkansas head women's basketball coach. Talk with Bill King, Alyssa Orange, get into a baseball game because the Hogs play Missouri State tomorrow night, and kick around maybe the dreams that some of you might be thinking about. You might want to try to tamp down before you see them play against Texas Tech. Great to be back. For Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, I'm Phil Elson. We all invite you to download the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. We'll have all the highlights of the show. Ruskin and Jack coming up in just a few minutes, and we'll see you tomorrow. Get up, get out, and get better, and happy Sweet 16.